So welcome back, everyone, to the second part of this stream today. I'm here with the Night Panda, filling in for Leaf, who is unable to make it tonight. We've got some.
Hey there.
We've got the last section of the tournament, so it's going to be the general, and I want to make sure that I have the correct version of the general. So give me 1 second while I make sure that I have the right version. I know I should have done that before I started up, but it just makes me nervous when I have multiple versions like this. 1.1H. So yeah, I think I have the correct version, but I'm just making sure. I'm one of those people who likes to make sure of everything, so. Okay. Okay. So the general is moved back inside the folder, so I'm going to go back to the main menu, put the general in here, and he's challenging Games God. So as we all know, Games God can play any civ. The general can only play a couple. And on the general's thread, he can only play Aztec, Huns, Incas, and Magyars. So that's kind of tricky. I'm just going to get out a dice roller online right now, and I'm just going to roll it, and if it hits 1 through 4, if it's 1, I'm going to do Aztecs, 2 Huns, 3 Incas, and 4 Magyars. So it's a 3, so 3 was Inca. So this will be an Inca fight.
Cool.
So Marathon says that he wants to join as well. Panda, do you mind if Marathon joins us on the stream before we?
No, of course not.
Okay.
He's more than welcome.
I'm going to add both of you to a group here, and then let me. I have to friend him, so. So Marathon, please add me as a friend before, and then you can join with the Night Panda and myself. So while that's going on in the background, let's go ahead and start this. Well, we said Inca, so we have to. We've seen Inca a couple of times. This is kind of exciting. So Inca versus Inca. All right. There we go. The General versus Games God. Now, Games God has been playing fairly well these past few days. I don't know if you've seen all the videos or not, but he played fairly well last night inside that free-for-all match. I don't know if you saw those, Night Panda.
I just skimmed over it. I didn't watch all of it, but
yeah.
But yeah, he's probably actually done some thought to how it would play in free-for-alls and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I sure haven't.
So General is one of the veteran AIs. I would say that he's one of the older AIs in the tournament. This is actually his first match here inside the New Blood tournament. So
yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the general here. So I would say he's probably the favorite here, also being seeded better. He did quite well in the last Big Arabia tournament, and I think it's been updated and improved since then. I don't remember when the last update was, but I know that Leaf has been working on it at least. Um, it's I think the general is the only AI, or at least the only top AI, to only go for fast castle strategies.
Hmm. So, do you think either the general or games god? Do you think either one has a chance at beating Immortal if they win this match? You know, games god or the general, because that's who they're challenging next.
Define chance.
Well, I think that kind of gives away what your thoughts are, but I'm even the remote.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance. That kind of gives away what you're thinking, Panda. So,
Immortal might win.
Immortal.
There is a chance.
So, hello, French Viper fan. Thank you for joining. I know we started up a little bit early, but Leaf said that he could not make it, unfortunately, tonight. So we went ahead and got started. So the night Panda could stream with me. So it was nice of him to be able to co-cast with me tonight. So thank you to him. So Games Guy going up into Feudal Age here. He has 24 villagers. General going up in the Feudal Age.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Yeah. What's the pub of the general? Yeah. Yeah. So
28.
clearly is going fast castle here with a 28 pub. And what to say if he's Incas? So he's gonna go Eagles with Incas.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So GameScott really needs to do damage in feudal, because if general is allowed to get the elite eagle upgrade with decent numbers without taking too much eco damage, then it's looking grim for GameScott. GameScott is doing sort of the counter unit. I eagle strat here.
I saw that. Now he's got a couple of militiamen out here. So
yeah. So what he needs to attack now, and he needs to get men at arms as quickly as possible. But he seems to be running low on food though.
Yeah.
He only just has enough food for vil production currently.
So the general going up in the Castle Age. So it's not looking good for games.
Yeah, we're about to see how good eagles can be.
So let's see how many. So just has a couple of equals at this point. Getting the upgrade, Eagle Warrior upgrade. Yeah, this is going to turn scary fast here. This is not something you'd like to see if you're the opponent of Eagle Warriors.
Getting the first armor upgrade for eagles as well, just as with knights. That one is quite important, as it'll often like half the amount of damage you'll take from ranged units, at least feudal age ranged units.
So welcome Games God to
see games.
Yeah, Games God is
here.
Yeah, Games God is inside the chat. So,
oh, cool. Oh, and we have a fight.
Yeah, the fight didn't last very long. So
this game's got kind of missed its timing window here.
Yeah, the window of opportunity has pass by, so to speak. And GameScott is choosing Eagle Scouts to counter Eagle Warriors, which is an interesting choice. I don't.
Yeah, it was actually doing the right unit before. It was just kind of not doing enough and not attacking early enough with them.
Yeah.
But I mean, the general is a top AI. It is weak to early game harassment, but it's once it's Castle Age unharassed,
Once it
it's a
gets
force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, once it gets set up here, it'll become scary. Now I don't know what these villagers were doing, but from the general, but I don't know if they were going for this watchtower and were thinking about bringing it down, or what they were exactly thinking about.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't really know how the general's micro is structured. I know there's some like running from TC rules. But besides that, I'm not. I haven't talked much with Life about it or Leaf. I have talked with him about build orders and priority of certain technologies and things like that.
I think I heard that he actually got with you for advice regarding some of that stuff. So you wanted to see what your thoughts were. And
yeah, the funny thing about Leaf is that he's been with the community for a very long time, and he's obviously very, very, very knowledgeable about the inner mechanics of scripting
mm-hmm.
and DUC commands and stuff. Like he's probably Cheese and Toast were the main people teaching me how to use DUC and just giving scripting advice in general, among with others, but those two were the main ones. But the funny thing with Leaf is that he's not really that good at playing the game. He, I actually think he can't even beat his own AI.
I might be
So that's a bit of
I might be pretty similar. I made Hulane as you, but I'm not a very good player of the game myself, so I can understand,
yeah.
where he.
So the funny thing about it then is that he would like the main things, the most obvious things to optimize when I talked to Leaf were things that most players would know kind of instinctively from playing the game, like like just with the experience that gives you.
Yeah. Certainly.
But I think most of it was just small things like getting more units out before getting upgrades for them, stuff like that. And it really looks to have improved the like the builds for General a lot. But obviously it was already a great AI, and I think it's not like I think my advice has been the main factor in improving it, but
I think
but I do see a few of the things.
Yeah, I think it's important to get with your peers when you're creating an AI, especially somebody who's been around and doing it longer, because you can talk about where do you need to go with your AI to get it into a better position. So even if the Max came back, he could get with you or the maximal being and maybe discuss on how to make Barbarian better. There's always an extra idea on how to make where to proceed from here, type of thing. So
Yeah.
At least listen to what they say.
They're asking in the chat what is the elo of different AIScripters.
Oh,
I think I'm around. I haven't played the game for quite some time, but I think I'm around like 1500 D, something like that. Maybe more, since it may have inflated since I last played it. How about you, Elephant?
no comments. I'm
No
like
comments. Right.
I'm terrible. I'm just really terrible. I'm better at playing Age of Empires 1 than I am at playing Age of Empires 2. I like the 55 population, and I like I like playing where the game I don't have to know where all the shortcuts are on my computer or stuff. It's just a more peaceful era just to play the game. But I like making it. I like making AIs. So and playing putting my AI against your guys' AI. So Age of Empires
Yep.
2 is the scene to do that. So
Cool. So looking at GamesGod here, it seems like he is he's done a lot of towers. Like he's good at stabilizing the game for as long as possible. But there's no way he's gonna defend this this
this
imp push from the general here.
this is looking over. I think I can.
Yeah.
I think I can speed it up right now. Right. This is. Well, we'll just keep it at this
Oh
speed.
yes.
Okay, we'll speed it up a little bit. Look at those eagles go. Okay, that didn't take long.
One nice thing I noticed about the general here was that it adjusted its unit comp, like doing eagles, and then when it saw the enemy doing eagles, it added in the slingers, like reactionary. With,
Yeah, I saw that he had a couple of slingers in there, which I didn't really. It seemed like they were kind of dying. That they weren't. I didn't know how helpful those slingers were, and actually,
they were helpful. Like slingers do. Slingers is the best castle age anti infantry unit in the game.
So we'll go on to the second match
With
here.
the possible exception of cataphracts.
The general versus games.
That's a lot of AIs on that list.
Do you guys like my collection? I work hard on it. Yeah, I work hard on my collection of AIs. So if you guys make or write additional AIs, I'll add it to my collection here. So I make sure to keep all my versions of my old AIs too. So reactionary 1, reactionary 0. So yeah, okay. General versus Games God, round 2. Let's get started. So Marathon says that he wants to join. I'm going to try to add him on here. So create a group between you and where's the Night Panda? Oh yeah. Create group. Okay. Okay, I'm going to drop off this call for 1 second, Night Panda, and come back onto the other call when I call you right back. Okay?
Alright.
So Night Panda's going to be.
Hello again.
Yep. Welcome back. I'm glad that you were able. So we'll see if Marathon is able. Okay, there he is. Hello, Marathon.
Hello.
How are you doing today? It's kind of getting a little bit of lag inside Marathon's end.
Yeah, you're cutting out, Marathon. I think you might want to lower the mic sensitivity. Like not turning it down, but making sure Discord will catch you without having to speak too loud.
So Marathon is still kind of having trouble. While he gets that figured out, we'll kind of see what the AIs are up to here. So 15 villagers for both competitors right now. So they're doing a good job there. General luring in a boar.
Yep. Looks pretty clean from both
Mm-hmm.
AIs here.
You like this speed, this 2.0 with the... so, for individuals interested, I did get with Night Panda, and in the background I am using cheat engine, so to speak. So I did get that set up with the help of Night Panda. It's at 1.6, I think. So there is that in the background, but
Yep.
Just so everyone is aware.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering why this is, it's because MrElephant's laptop is very unique in that it runs the commands of AIs at a quicker pace than any other computer I've encountered, which means that it may make some timing-based macro bug out, and by counteracting this with cheat engine, we get something which resembles basically running the game on any other computer. So this should not handicap any AI. It should be the same as playing on any other computer.
In other words, it means I'm special. Yay.
Yes.
I always like being special.
Hopefully in one patch at some point. Oh, so what did you say, Marathon?
Oh, he's still kind of cutting out in the background there.
Yeah, we can't really hear you probably.
Oh, well, Marathon, you might want to try dropping off and just typing inside the chat. I think there's still that issue with the mic, so maybe we can get it fixed another day.
Another day.
Alright, looking at the game here, we have something fairly similar to last game, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
With the both AIs going for the same strategies, and just like last time, GameScott is a bit late to get attacking, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's kind of putting himself in that position where he's going to get overrun by the general's equal warriors. So
he did get supplies this time, though. So maybe he will. I didn't see if he got it last time, but maybe he can create a large enough army of men-at-arms to actually challenge the Eagles. I think they do 4 or... yeah, I think it's 4 or 6 bonus damage to Eagles, the men-at-arms.
Just afraid that he's going to attack
looking at this,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is because he hasn't found GameScott yet. This is the way attack groups will move when the enemy isn't scouted and they're set to attack.
Yeah, he has ungrouped soldiers.
Now we found him.
Yeah.
But this is bad for GameScott. His army isn't together.
This is not good for games. Yeah. So GameScott, our last round 1 competitor, appears to be in a very tough position. Our last competitor from the first round inside our tournament. About to get knocked out.
Actually, I see the general has updated its avoiding TC code here. It can actually run under TCs now. The version which was in the last Big Arabia tournament wasn't able to do this. But yeah, now Game God is changing to Eagles, which is not the right call here, I think. Eagle Scouts really don't do much against Castle Age Eagles. Are you still here?
Yes,
MrElephant?
yeah. I'm just listening to what you're saying because I think it's important. So researching wheel, I probably wouldn't be focused on wheel at this point. I would be focused more on getting up into Castle Age because you're an age behind at this point. You're already in kind of a scary position, meaning you might get overrun at any moment. So you have to try to get up in the Castle Age so you can get those units that kind of will counter the Eagles or whatever your strategy will be. You just have to be able to make it up in the Castle Age.
Yeah. One of the things we can see on the screen here with GamesGod that I also talked with Leaf about is the having idle farms, especially in the early game, is something that will tend to delay your uptime a lot. Because like you've already spent a lot of res on the farms, so having like 10 idle farms without any other way to get food quickly will delay your Castle Age by a lot. So that's something that that the strong macro AIs will be better at, making sure they have less idle farms.
So Marathon put some good comments inside the chat, and this is in quotes. In my experience, the only good solutions against Eagles and Castle is Knights, Jaguars, and maybe Expos. Cataphracts did not work for me, and Militiamen line is too much of an investment, and they are useless if the enemy switches off Eagles.
Yeah, I would half agree with that. I think the what Marathon is saying is absolutely correct. If you don't have like very strong DUC macro, but if you have very strong DUC macro and then you can exploit the same sort of timing rushes as humans, where you would do like a 3 or 2 militia rush or a 3-4 men-at-arms rush before the enemy can get ranged units out. Then it can be worth it, but doing full-on infantry in the early game tends to get countered once the enemy masses enough ranged units.
So while we wait for the general to for the general's final attack, after this fight, it appears the general will be going on to face the Maximal Being's Immortal AI. So that's what will be happening after this fight. And then whoever wins between Immortal and probably the general will face the DEAI, which will then go into our final round versus Rehoboam. So we've only got a couple of matches left here. It's getting.
I think Randy is asking if
this is the quarterfinal. This is this match that we're currently in is a round 3. It's our last round 3 fight, which will go into our last quarter final fight. So So I know we've been doing things kind of in a crazy order, but it's been because we've been trying to get more speakers on. So unfortunately, Leaf wasn't able to make it, but maybe next time. Maybe next time. There's always room for a next time.
Certainly.
So
And I mean, Leaf you oftentimes has time, so it was probably just unlucky today.
So are there any plans on making Rehoboam water capable in the future? Do you think, Panda?
Well, so what I would say is that making Rehoboam play all maps to the level of his Arabia standard is most likely not gonna happen.
I was just saying in general. Do you have plans on doing water? Not to the level.
But
yeah.
So and like earlier in my scripting days, I wanted to make an AI that could play more maps and focus more on that. But I think my motivation lies more with being competitive and being able to challenge even some humans. And with an AI like Immortal and some other very strong AIs capable of playing great on potentially all types of maps, I also feel like the need for all AIs to play on all maps, or at least for Rehoboam to play all maps well, isn't as big. So I think my main motivation would be if there was like a tournament or if the AI ladder were to play a water map, I might make a small update just to compete, but it wouldn't be trying to win such a ladder round or such a tournament on islands. Because
that would be kind
of. I wouldn't have the time for that, but I would find it. I would have fun trying to make something that could compete with, say, an AI with another AI which isn't really
HD AI
water maps.
HD AI maybe on water around that level maybe.
Here just any other AIs in the tournament. Like
I
would still find it fun to compete, but
right.
I would have a very different mindset of which level I would be aiming at.
Yeah, certainly. I hope
so
that
the game here.
Yeah. So General is attacking. This is, I think we all know where this is going. We see the siege rams coming in. It's looking bad for Games God.
Yeah, it was a better game for GameScott, this one. I think he survived for a bit longer, but it's it is tough because without UC macro, you don't really have the tools to punish the fast castle sufficiently.
So the general has now knocked out Games God and moves on to facing Immortal. So this is probably a fight that individuals will be kind of interested in seeing. So I know I am. So I know we didn't roll for the General's Civ last time, but we will roll for him. And then we know that Immortal G, yeah, that's it. So he can play any Civ apparently. So that's something that the Maximal Being was saying inside Discord the other day to me after everything was run, that he plays any Civ besides Bohemians and the other new Civ. So we cannot use those, but we can use everything else. So for the general, let's go ahead and roll him and see what's the. Let's see. The dice says that 1. So on AIScripters, we have to go back to the AIScripters page. He will be playing Civs. So it says are Aztecs. So he'll be playing Aztecs. Both are playing Aztecs. So they could have played anything, but we're going to be rolling Aztecs now. Okay. I'm just basing this off of a random dice roll from the General's 1.1 page. So he can play Aztecs, Huns, Incas, and Magyars. So I rolled a 1, so he's playing Aztecs this time. So let's go and see what will happen.
Yep. This should be fun.
Yeah. Definitely be interesting. Now the general is kind of in the opposite position almost than he was in the previous fight, where the general was kind of the expected winner of, Games God versus the general, but I think more people are expecting Immortal to win versus the general here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think I would expect Immortal to go for maybe an Eagle strat with Incas. I know it's able to do this. We could take a look at Immortal here from its point of view. I haven't played that many games with it, but the few I've seen, I've been extremely impressed with it, and I think one of the there's many areas where it's just miles ahead of any other AI, and one of them is scouting. It's so quick to find all its resources that it can just send its eagle forward to lame after 3 minutes, which it appears to be doing right now. Not sure if it's found a boar yet, but I think it will try to steal enemy resources if it can.
So I've noticed with Immortal is that he places his camps right next to the wood line and right next to the berries. Would you hope to see at least one tiny little space in here, or is this, kind of what you expect perfect positioning to be? So
I think the lumber camp there should be a little to the right, so it's more in the middle of the forest, but still touching the forest. You want lumber camps to be in the little lumps, so it covers as much as wood as possible. But it's still a very good lumber camp. The same with the mill is fairly decent, though the mill is a bit more tricky because, as you can see, some of the vills are actually walking further than they need to.
Yeah, around the berry bush instead of,
Yeah, because you only want to be working at sort of the edge berries. That's a small thing, but that's the reason why Rehoboam actually has space between the mills and the berries, because it's very hard to make DUC macro that only works at the edge berries. But it's a small thing, doesn't really matter much. But I think Immortal has great drop sites and great lumber camps in general, and I think the reason it built its lumber camp a little more to the left is just to have it more safe, have it more in the back.
Yeah.
That would be my expectation.
That makes sense, really. Because you don't want, as we saw kind of in Shadow's fight versus Riho earlier, that kind of forward lumber camp kind of really made, put him in a tough spot when Rio went for for the attack in the second game. So
yeah, and it's just it's really mesmerizing to watch Immortal play sometimes. I think the early game eco it's good, but it's there are AIs that are on par with it at least. But it's in the late game that Immortal really is something from another world. And here, yeah, we see the Eagle strat here. Immortal doing 1 barracks Eagle Warriors, or actually 2 barracks it seems, yeah.
I know months before Immortal was released, all the videos that he was putting out there about the coding, well, just everything that Immortal could do, it was just so incredible. Just just seeing everything, behind the scenes type of stuff. So
yeah, I'm gonna at some point when I have time for scripting again, I'm gonna ask him about some of the dynamic eco adjustments and how all that works. Like, I don't think I'll have time to ever play with it myself, but it would be super interesting to hear how these things are done.
yeah,
Because I've never even tried to do it, but he seemed to do it with relative ease.
because unlike myself, who's like an accounting individual, and I know that your profession is something else as well. He's a programmer, so he's able to do these. He's used to doing these types of advanced coding things and using different compilers and everything like that to make an AI. So he's used to thinking outside the box in terms of scripting, so to speak.
Yeah. Actually, looking at the game, I'm quite surprised that Immortal hasn't attacked yet, because it had a big army lead in Feudal Age, and it didn't attack with it. So now the general has actually been allowed to just get away with his fast castle without being punished, and it seems that now the general is attacking.
Yeah, but
however, I know that Immortal has some fancy DUC micro for its melee units, so that may come into play here, though I think in the end it's the superior number advantage of Immortal also seems to be a difference maker here. Oh, and we see quick walls from the villagers. That's so cool.
yeah, look, it really is incredible. He had
I think with Feudal Age. Even with Feudal Age units, he took better fights here. Immortal. I think the general had the ideal start it could have, but the DC micro and grouping made the difference.
He had a window of opportunity that could have potentially won him the game, but that now that Immortal's inside Castle Age, it's going to be very difficult to overcome.
How many TCs does the general have? Is it 1 or 2?
I think that he just has 1 at this time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking bad for the general now. Yeah, only 1. Yeah, Immortal is ahead in every category now, and it's quite tricky to see when you're just watching the game. But Immortal is actually doing an insane amount of melee micro in all of these fights, and you don't really notice it because it just seems so natural. But all of the units are constantly being retargeted to target lower HP units and to walk less distance unnecessarily, and also units which are getting attacked by multiple units or are getting low on HP are brought out of the fight. So you sort of create these small artificial army advantages all the time while fighting. It's really quite insane to fight against, even for humans. I think even the Viper would lose with equal numbers to the strongest iteration of Immortal Melee Micro. I've tried playing against that, and it's insane.
The constant pressure of these troops is just tremendous. So, you know, these gold units, you know, it's very difficult to keep on. You know, when you keep on losing your troops and everything, you have to have, you know, a really good. So I see that he has a second TC over here now, Panda. So one TC over here, one TC there. So let's go. I haven't checked on chat lately. So they're talking about box formation for eight strong groups. So it's fairly interesting.
Yeah, I haven't played much around with box formation. I think, but I guess it makes sense with at least when you have like 4 units to have them in a box rather than a line, because it will theoretically it should lead to less like inefficient regrouping when the units are walking. They should be more in the same formation all the time. I think that could be some of the reason, but probably the maximal being would be able to share better insights on the exact reasoning.
So researching.
It's actually still a fairly. Yeah, researching imp here.
Yeah,
it's still a fairly close game.
Yeah. Only
Immortal has a decisive lead.
Only 1,000 points ahead at this point, but researching. It looks like the Jaguar Warriors are coming in here. That'll be. But hasn't upgraded his archers to crossbow yet. So, well, I guess that's because of. Yeah.
He's against eagles. It's not really a priority. I think the archers are mainly just to snipe the few men-at-arms in the mix. But pretty good army comp overall for Immortal here. And now it's nearing 200 population in Imp. Immortal tends to go Imp a bit later compared to many other top AIs. Prioritize the boom more. And this was an approach I was actually using for Rehoboam in earlier builds, but it kept failing me because it just died. But Immortal has insane defense. It's very good at surviving and not wasting builds or military in its own base. So it can actually it makes sense for Immortal to play this way, to go for TC every game, because it gets away with it.
Well, we're 40 minutes into the game now. Scores are not very close at this time. I would imagine that we'd see some Trebs maybe come out eventually.
Yeah, Immortal seems to get every upgrade in the game at the moment. It's researching Siege Ram now. Not sure why it's not doing traps here, but
yeah,
it is preparing for Siege at least.
Researching Champion. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't agree with doing both elite Jaguar warriors and champion here, because it already has enough castles to just do full Jaguars, which
Yeah.
is probably better than champions in this situation anyway.
I was wondering why he
It's a
was
bit of wasted resources.
why I was wondering why he was going for both those types of units. But
Well, I mean it's hard to know for sure if you have enough castles in every single game. So it may just be some flexibility thing where it will
yeah.
always have a backup in the champions, and the unique unit just so happens to serve the same role here.
All right. So game 1 is over. We have one more match. We have one more match between the General and Immortal. Well, who knows? Maybe the General will win, but we won't throw him under the bus just yet. Here. So let's go ahead and see what the dice says that he will play this time. So dice says 4. So what's 4? It's Magyars. So Immortal can play that Civ as well. So let's go ahead and see how it will turn out. So second game between the General and Immortal. If Immortal wins, he goes on to play the DEAI. So
Do you still hear me?
yeah, I can
Can you
still
still?
yes, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Alright. Yep.
So the winner
Yeah, the DEI. I'm
yeah.
actually not sure if who would be stronger of the General and the DEI. The DEI is probably stronger in the late game, though I think the fast castle strategy of the General is actually Immortal seems less able to punish it than some other AIs in this tournament. Here we see Immortal stealing 2 sheep, or maybe the General will get the General will get 1 back, but this is really showing how fast Immortal finds all its resources every single game. It may even steal a boar here. No, I guess the General took it fast enough.
So round 2, early game yet. Immortal has built his lumber camp and his mill and a farm at this point. In addition to doing some really fine scouting. So I would imagine that and he's okay, there he goes. He's researching feudal age. 8 minutes, 5 seconds. So pretty fast feudal time. Has 21 villagers.
Yep, it seems like a scout build, and I remember Immortal talking about the different strategies of Immortal, and he said that he actually said that the Eagle build he was finding that to be the strongest build, and he found the Scout build to be the weakest build of Immortal. And most likely this is going to be the Scout build, judging from the way the builds are distributed.
Yeah, it looks like he's already going for the Scout Cavalry here. So.
Yep. But I'm sure it's still going to be very good.
Yeah, it will definitely be impressive, whichever strategy he goes for.
So I think the main thing to look out for in this battle will be if two things or three things. The first one being how quickly will Immortal attack with its scouts. Will it be able to do damage before the general gets Castle Age? And if it attacks quickly enough, will the general react with spears in time to defend itself? Losing its scout here.
Yeah.
And it seems Immortal is more aggressive this game, which probably needs to, because without it, it will most likely get punished more heavily by knights than it would be with eagles.
Killing a couple of villagers in the back of General's base.
Yeah, no. Oh, this is bad for the general. No spears created so far. Yeah, these scouts can do so much damage here. Oh no.
Yeah, villagers are.
Looks like the general doesn't have a. Looks like the general doesn't have an answer to a scout rush built into its code. This is a massacre.
Yeah.
This game is probably over already.
Yeah, the scores are pretty different for early game. So, I mean, there goes the Castle Age.
Yeah, and even the Immortal is gonna click up to Castle Age in a second here.
There he goes.
Even though the general is ahead by Castle Age, I don't think it really matters, because it's lost so much.
The eco damage has been too much at this point.
Yeah, it probably killed like 15 plus vills here.
We'll do a quick vill count. So
It's pretty funny to look at the scout micro of Immortal here, because I never looked at it before, but it actually looks a lot like the melee micro I made for Rehoboam, the way it circles around and stops attacking vills at a certain TC distance and retargets to a vill further away from the TC. It's fun how like people don't look at each other's strategies, but still the evolution takes them to the same direction.
When when two things are pretty much the correct way of doing something, I mean, you kind of go down the same path. They wind up in the same place. When something is the correct way of doing it, it's the correct way of doing it. So.
Yeah. I do think one thing Immortal could be working on for future updates, and maybe the scout build is especially affected by this, is that once the enemy has enough army to fight Immortal's army, or even to defeat Immortal's army, to like acknowledge this and then flee and try and get another attack angle without actually losing units in the process. Immortal is sometimes a bit wasteful once it decides to attack from a certain angle.
Ooh, those knights are. Ouch. Those scouts are going down.
Yeah, here Immortal doesn't want to fight. Immortal wants to just run away with these units. There's no reason to fight here, right? But Immortal is taking the fight. Kind of unnecessarily. It's taking a decent fight because its micro is insanely good, but it's just it could take an even better fight by just waiting for reinforcements or running away and hitting in another spot. You can really see the melee micro here,
Wow.
how absurd it is.
That front scout runs away while the other units catch up to the unit chasing the scout and then attack it. That seems... Wow. It's really
You should
impressive.
try playing against it. It's like beating your head into a wall.
Okay, and there we go. General resigns. So General has met its end here in the tournament. So good job to Immortal for proceeding to the semifinal round versus DE AI. So only 2 games left here, folk. Well, there's the potential to go up to 6 games, but there's only 2 matches left. So we'll go ahead and.
Yeah, I'll probably.
Are
probably
you
have to leave now though.
okay?
Since it's,
Okay. So if there's any.
it really sucks. I would like to watch the final, but I have to get up for a shift in like 5 hours.
Okay.
10-hour shift, so.
We'll make sure
it's
that
not gonna work if I don't
yeah.
get some sleep.
Well, maybe you can tune in tomorrow to see who the. No spoiling. No spoiling for anyone. No, for viewers, don't spoil it for Night Panda tomorrow when he before he comes in and watches the fight. So.
One question though before I leave. If the final is like whoever's gonna reach the final, will it be the same Civ every single game, or will you choose allow Immortal to go random?
It's going to be so you only play Franks, so it's going to be Franks. It'll be Frank's 3 matches, up to 3 matches. So it'll be a Frank.
Okay.
It'll be a Frank battle. So that's what it'll be.
I mean, obviously it's for you to decide, but I do think it may be a disadvantage to Immortal.
Well, Immortal didn't really choose.
Or the DEAI, whoever.
Yeah, but Immortal didn't really choose out of Civ. He said that it could play anything. So that means anything. He didn't really choose out. He said that Aztecs were the best, but he didn't really say, when I said that inside the first round that I chose Aztecs because it was its best Civ, but people didn't really agree that I should be doing that. So that's why, just doing the basic of, the standard. So,
it's totally your decision. I just wanted to add my input.
Understood.
But, thanks for having me on. And,
thank you, Night Panda, for joining us.
Thanks for hosting this great tournament, and I'll see you guys around after I've watched the games and dare enter the Discord forum again.
So, thank you again, Night Panda. So, so we will start with the DEAI versus Immortal, and if there's anyone in the crowd who wants to come out here and co-cast with me, feel free. Maybe Offwo, maybe Games God. I haven't had you on here yet, so if you want to come, send me a private message in Discord. Say that you want to join, and we'll go ahead and set that up. So this is AI versus Immortal. I think everything looks good. So we're playing Indians. I want to see some unique units here. You can co-cast? Great, Offwo. I'm reaching out to you now. Welcome, Offwo. How are you doing today? Can you hear me? Can't hear Offwo at the moment, but he's apparently joined my Discord. Maybe it's a problem with his mic or something. So he's configuring some settings. Basic dark stuff here at a second.
Yes.
Hey, Offwo, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Is everything working?
Yeah, everything is working. I'm glad to hear that you're able to join us. So this is great.
Okay. Do I just co-cast from the stream?
Yeah. We're just talking about the stream. So you can just talk about the stream or how you programmed, or how you've taken over working on.
Okay, so it looks like the DEAI is going for a drush. If you look, it's actually the pre-mill drush. This could be awkward. Immortal stealing the boar that Blue is trying to hunt, and it isn't sending the bill back. Okay, it's going back now, so at least it didn't get lured to the TC or anything.
Yeah, I see a couple of militiamen in the back of the town center, so he'll probably go for the attack here at any.
So one thing that can be improved a bit is sometimes the DAI it doesn't find its opponent all the time, and B, it could. I've noticed this before. And it's on my one of my things on my list to improve is when the drush doesn't find the TC. It would be better to at least send a militia to the center or an estimate of where the enemy might be. Right now, it's just leaving them in its base, and okay, now it finds Immortal, but it comes in. It now is going to come in a bit late. But it still gets a good drush flush up time.
Will it research man-at-arms? Do you think, or?
If all the militia survive, yes, I think so.
That's good to hear. So when did you take over working on the definitive edition AI from Promi? When did that exchange occur? What was it? A couple.
So it was around July last year.
I can't imagine inheriting all the code.
This has been kind of my main problem. I really wish that when I was first starting and didn't have any deadlines, that I had spent that time rather than going in and try and work on it immediately, that I had spent my time going through every line of code and documenting it, because it would have saved me so much time over the next 6 months. But the DAI managed to get a bill.
Yeah, so militiamen are chasing Immortal around the camp. Chasing the skirmishers around the camp. Interrupting a few of the wood choppers. Looks like the militiamen were killed. So. Yeah, I can't imagine just inheriting so much code and so much to read and just understanding everyone, all the variables and just everything about.
One of the problems is not many of them, but some of the goals. Because I don't. By the way, I don't fault for any of this at all, because he's been working it for 8 years and never expected to pass any of it on. But to give an example, some of the goals are named in German, so you've got to work out what they mean.
that must have been kind of frustrating and funny at the same time.
Yeah.
But it seems like you kind of had a successful change of command, so to speak. So it seems like you kind of
Yeah, I've generally kind of kept, so far I've kept fairly conservative with the changes. One of the things I have actually improved a bit is this spear response to scouts. It used to use aggressive stance, so you could chase away the spears. It now uses defensive stance to guard the camp, so that means you can't exploit it as much. You can't like lure away the spear with one scout and then kill it with all the other scouts. It reach targets quicker.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting change. Now something interesting that I thought before you had Ulysses inside the tournament, you had an AI called Leary that you were kind of working on it as well. How is that AI coming along?
It's not got that far, to be honest. It was kind of a test AI to really examine different possible micro approaches for the DAI. It's still in a early stage and it might never get released.
Oh no!
But
I hope to see it in the future. I hope that you'll.
Yeah, but I really want to, obviously, when I work on like the game for like 40 hours a week, I do want to do something else for my free time. But when I whenever I stop working for FE, I'd really like to play with the compilers that are coming out.
Yeah.
And like try, and maybe even try to do like some reinforcement learning stuff in a.
So you're talking about some of the compilers, kind of like Immortal was kind of made with.
Yeah, Immortals and like kind of trying to like log stuff and then like automatically change stuff based on the log and everything. But right now the DAI I'm just trying to like fix. I have one thing that I can't talk about that's been in the work. Yeah, I'm kind of NDA'd on like a lot of what my plans are, but there is one thing that I've been working on that I hope comes out in the next 6 months regarding the DAI.
Some secret plans.
I can't guarantee. Yeah, I can't guarantee anything or tell you what they are.
Some mysterious background coding going on right now behind the scenes, but I look forward to seeing if they are released. Yeah. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Now here's something I've been kind of meaning to ask. So each time the definitive edition AI is released, do you keep older versions of definitive edition around? Meaning the definitive edition AI, do you keep the older versions?
So like obviously internally within FE, we use obviously as a standard in the gaming industry, we use some kind of source control that can handle all of that for you. That doesn't stop my AI folder from having 25 renamed copies of the AI in it. That's all slightly different, and
that's cool. I'm glad that you still but you have all those different versions.
The old versions are kept.
Yeah, because when each new version is when an update comes out, you guys probably replace all the files in the DE folder, and But I was just wondering if those old DE AI files were still kept around somewhere, or if you guys just.
Yeah, so I back it. Also, I manually back it up to like an external drive, like every couple of weeks. So if my laptop blows up, I don't lose everything. So I've got a lot of old versions sitting on a hard drive somewhere.
You hear that, everyone? He has a secret treasure trove of old DEAIs. So.
Yep. So.
That's definitely interesting. So back to the battle here. It looks like Immortal is kind of giving the DEAI run for its money. I'm feeling a little bit.
I would expect Immortal to win these 3 games, but I don't think it's like completely decided. I think the DEA has about a 20% chance of winning each game. But it's just the differences in the micro level of micro Immortal does. I haven't really been able to replicate it.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting seeing all the different, micro and everything going on.
Yeah.
This watchtower seems to be placed in a pretty good position. So.
Yeah, so it uses place control for that, and it generally places it by the camp that is closest to the enemy, and this helps a lot against TSA AIs, obviously. But it also means that even if they can micro to get round the tower, it means at least one camp is actually defended.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and a good placement and good strategy. So, yeah. So it looks like some Imperial camel riders are coming into.
Yeah. So it looked fairly even, but Immortal was able to take Imperial first, and then once it took the fight with plate barding and Imperial upgrades, it won.
Yeah, it looks like it's.
If you want, the DAI doesn't resign that quickly because casual human players like to kill everything.
Yeah, I just sped it up a little bit, so.
Yeah.
So.
I wanted to make it resign earlier. If you type 105 as a taunt, it will switch to a more conventional resign rule.
I'll keep that in mind in the future.
I'm not quite sure if it would accept it from a computer player though. But as human, you can do that if you're fed up of killing the every last building.
So here's a question for you. Would you be willing to join the last battle here of Rehoboam versus whichever AI wins between Immortal and the DEAI? Would you be willing to join the final battle of the competition?
When would that be?
Right after this one.
Okay, yeah, I can cast for a bit longer. That's fine.
Great.
Right, we should probably talk about the actual game.
Okay.
We have some sheep scouting from both AIs. Probably the DA's Dark Age is all DUC. And I imagine Immortals is which means it.
Yeah, it's both. I know that Immortal uses a lot of duck to go out and kind of scout the area. If we actually look to see what Immortal has already kind of scouted, he's already scouted to the Definitive Edition's base over here, and he's done the
with Arabia, the way Immortal scouting probably works is that because it gives because for like expert human play, being near the edge of the map, having your starting town center near the edge of the map, is a bit of an advantage. Because it makes it easier to rule. Because of that, the way Arabia has been designed is that there is some variance now, but there's not much variance in how far the TCs are from the center, and they're often very similar. So I imagine the way Immortal Scouting works is that it keeps a constant difference from the center and then goes round in a circle round the center of the map, and you will almost always, in 1 versus 1 Arabia, find your opponent that way. I imagine that's roughly how it works.
Yeah, that's fairly interesting and sounds pretty complex. So it looks like the DEAI has actually collected 4 additional sheep here.
Yeah, so that's basically Immortal kind of took a risk and went to Blue's base to steal the boar, but it meant that it didn't find 4 of its own sheep in time. So even though the DAI is nice and doesn't try and lane, it actually opened itself up to having its sheep stolen. So that's a risk both as AI as human in like going for such a steal with without like scouting everything in your space first.
That was some good work by the DEAI to get those sheep back and everything like that.
So we've got a scout rush from DAI. I would say this is probably the weakest strategy the DA has, but if Immortal goes for a scout rush of its own, it might be good to defend against.
Yeah, but both AIs are going for a scout rush at the moment. So,
and the DAI is often quick to switch into archers, which could be good or bad. If it gets the critical mass of archers is 15. If you get a group of 15 or more archers, the counter becomes the other way round because they kill them in one shot.
So is that when the DEAI starts to attack? Is at 15 archers?
I don't think that's precise, but I'm more talking about if there is a fight. That will be kind of the decisive thing against pure scouts. So the DAI is trying to raid. I don't think it will be successful, but it might get that damaged fill. Okay, it doesn't. But
couple of
at least it doesn't lose anything.
So it looks like a couple of scouts were killed by some spearmen over here. Immortal is holding off its scouts over here. So the DEAI is actually winning currently at the moment. Uh-oh.
think that's just exploration. I think Immortal is a couple of villages up.
Oh yeah, let's see. So Immortal actually has 37 villagers, and DE has 41. So has a couple of additional villagers even on Immortal. But Immortal is researching Castle Age, while DE is still inside. DE is going for a Archer Rush here.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of has to attack now to try and punish, like, going for pure scouts and then going castle. But it should retreat after after Immortal's been in a castle for about a minute. But it's taking out these spears, but this is just going to lose to, like, 4 chain guarding knights or something. Okay. Go back. Go back.
Offwo wants DEAI to retreat. Oh.
Yep. Okay. Well, if it manages to...
Looks like a little bit of damage is being done. Oh, looks like they're trying to retreat. Oi. Troops are...
this is what I feared, that chain guarding knights would destroy everything before DEAI gets cast on.
So, DEAI still has 10 troops back at its base compared to Immortals.
Yeah, that might, like, because I don't know how Immortal uses military superiority, but that might be enough to cause Immortal to reconsider the counterattack. Immortal's going for a castle drop, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Castle starting to produce unique units.
Yeah, so it wants, what is it, Franks? Yeah, it wants throwing axemen to counter the pikemen.
Has 69 villagers. DEAI has 58. So a little bit of a disadvantage right there for DEAI, but has 6 villagers in queue, so 3 town centers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Immortal had a slight advantage, but either can take it at this point.
How many town centers does Immortal have at the moment? He has 1, 2. I think. No, he has 3. I know he has a 3rd town center somewhere. I saw.
Yeah, no, they both have 3.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Oh no, Immortal has 4.
Oh.
So it's really going to be a question of, can the DEAI Imperial first and punish, like, the extra town center, or is it too far behind to do that?
So is DEAI going for knights at the moment? I see a couple of spearmen coming out here, but that looks like it's defensive, just in case, kind of reactionary.
So I think it will stick throughout castle unless Immortal starts making skirmishes. I think it will generally stick with an army of spearmen and crossbowmen until it clicks up, and then it will probably mix in a lot of knights in its army. I will make that text switch now because Franks don't have that many arch upgrades. If it, we might see something like some hand cannoneers if it's like committed to archers. But as you can see, it's researching all the cavalry upgrades, making knights.
Yeah. So this is fairly. It's a much closer fight than our last game. I mean, we were 1,000 points different last time. Now there's only 200 points in this match.
Yeah.
So it has hit Imperial Age, and DEAI has 3 of the relics collected. One relic is right next to this castle over here, so I don't think that DEAI is going to get that one, but it might get this relic over here.
Yeah. That will certainly help.
Lots of knights being produced. To be honest, I would rather be inside. I think I would rather be inside DEAI's position right now. It's because it's research.
I think that the difference is DAI don't have a castle yet, so.
But it's research cavalier, so
Yeah.
okay.
That will help it.
Yeah, Immortal just finished researching cavalier, so I didn't see that. So this is.
Yeah.
Blast Furnace being researched here. Going for Paladin for Immortal.
That is, in 1v1, that's a bit rare to see, because the argument is always, well, if you research Paladin, by the time you get to use it, you'll run out of gold. But DAI is doing it too.
Yeah, but both AIs are researching Paladin.
I'd rather get Halberdier in this situation.
It looks like DEAI actually outperformed Immortals. Well, it beat back Immortals Cavalier, and so got out its Paladins. So I've been lacking on my checking chat. So
yeah, I should do that.
Immortal. So Marathon says, okay, I can confirm Immortal has a duck eco. Is doing things I wanted to do but couldn't. Games God says, nice market DEAI. So
yeah, I think the market's just placed anywhere in 1v1. It's
so
yeah,
there.
This is what I'm.
There. Here comes the hand cannoneers that you're talking about, Offwo. So
yeah, so if you're Franks and don't have a castle, then hand cannoneers are your best answer to halberdiers. But I think Immortal's unit composition is a bit better because it has the halberdier upgrade.
So there's an extra town center going down over here on the right by that wood line.
Yeah, so funny enough, although DAI sticks with 3 town centers and castle mostly, it does, once it had a castle, it builds additional town centers, not to make villages immediately, but for defense, really, to hide villages in if it's raided. And so it can rebuild. If it gets raided, it can create new villages quickly. I don't believe in this DEA attack.
So
I think it should have waited for halberdier.
So yeah, it looks like DEAI kind of was pushed back a little bit right there from Immortal.
Yeah, I think it went for an attack because it momentarily had more army, but that attack because of the castles was a bit dubious, and now it's being punished for it.
Yeah, I think DEAI wanted this castle to go down, and so it was firing some was using the Treb to try to take it down, but it just didn't have. It was just a little bit short of taking down the castle. So DEAI wants this Treb to be gone. It's looking. I mean, DEAI could still make a recovery maybe at this point, but 117 vills versus 70.
Yeah,
it's looking.
I think the only way DA wins this is if Immortal's attacking bugs out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and speed it up. There we go. So, DEAI just surrendered. So, those were pretty close matches right there, everyone. So,
Yeah.
So
yeah, as I said, like Immortal would in most games had a slight advantage, but sometimes the games go the other way.
So we're on to.
That's about the result I was expecting.
That's okay because DAI has been one of the top AI for a very long time. So and
yeah, it's more also that the kind of AI versus AI games, if I'm going to offer an excuse, is not necessarily the focus of DAI really. Like 99% of the time I'm testing against itself to look for bugs, rather than like try and play this kind of AI meta, which isn't necessarily relevant
it's kind of more specialized.
like humans playing it. But I do think the micro of the AI could be improved. I think that's the main area.
So we're on, and
Mortal and Hoban.
So we're now inside our final fight, Rehoboam versus Immortal. Offwo, I really haven't had the chance to hear your opinion yet. Who do you think will win this fight between Rio and Immortal? You've seen both.
I think Rehoboam has a significant advantage, but I wouldn't be surprised if Immortal takes the game. The one thing I think Rehoboam's hit and run micro is a bit better, but Immortal has some good defense, and particularly with like the quick walling, and it might be able to survive and push Rehoboam back because of that.
So you've heard it from the creator of the DEI AI himself. He thinks Riho is going to win. We'll see if it turns out to be the case here. So both AIs have been worked on are both very, very tough AIs. They've made it to the final, and they've been programmed by just experts of scripters, just like yourself, Offwo. So you guys are just really good scripters of Age of Empires.
Yeah, I think. Okay. So we've got some sheep scouting.
The sheep scouting. So while they're doing the Dark Age stuff, you said you've been programming or scripting for 10 years now. Is that correct?
About that, I think I joined in 2011, but I think I kind of had a break between 2017, 2018, and 2020. I only really returned to the community when the whole pandemic happened. And suddenly I was like spending a lot of time at home, so I kind of got back into it.
Yeah.
Then.
I guess everyone was glad that you came back because fortunate because now you're working on the DEAI, so it turned out to work out for everyone.
Yeah, well, I was like very surprised when I got offered the job. I wasn't like expecting it at all. I was like, trying to do something completely different after.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm just.
I was planning actually to like work in like completely different type of AI. I was playing trying to get into like machine learning.
Oh,
That kind of
that's
thing.
interesting. Maybe you could do a
Yeah.
little bit of both, because Binary he was working on a little bit of machine learning AI
Yeah,
stuff.
so he's using his more technique applies more to the original game than DAI.
Mhm.
Like I think in his latest one, he's basically abandoned the AI language completely because it just isn't like built to do that. And he's using basically some kind of external program to send inputs to the original game
Mm.
to like play by itself.
So that's kind of interesting. So it's kind of a little bit like.
Obviously, D has protections against it because if that was possible, then you could like hack and cheat.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but that's it's still a neat idea,
yeah,
the background of kind of decoding and everything like that. So
yeah. So, and I would say also for this type of situation, the old expert system approaches that are used by basically almost every other AI are probably better just because the optimal way of playing the game is basically known. Like, there's been 20 years of expert playing this game, and it's known what like the best strategies and build orders are. You just have to implement them. The kind of machine learning approaches are more for, say, you had a completely new game and you had no idea how it would be played. That's when you would use that kind of approach, in my view. To give a kind of more practical example, like, would you use machine learning to produce an autopilot? And the answer is probably not,
yeah.
because people have been flying planes for years and know how to fly planes. Back to the game. So Immortals, the hit and run has defeated the scouts.
Yeah, Rehoboam's archers here have taken out Immortal scouts, and now Immortal's in
Yeah.
trouble here.
Yeah, I think Immortal needs skirmishes and padded archer armor now if it's going to survive.
He's
Or
very.
at least a tower and some internal walls. I think it's getting too late even for that, and it's losing too many villagers.
Yeah, he's trying to garrison some scouts here so he can go for. But do you think it's possible for him to garrison enough scouts to clear out those archers from and still make a recovery in the eco territory?
I don't think so with this micro level of micro. To fight archers effectively, ideally against good micro, you don't just want like cavalry or skirmishers. It's much better to have both. And that thing where I talked about the kind of 15 archer thing, that applies here. Like, if Rehoboam gets to 15 archers in a group, then any number of scouts, it counters any number of scouts, and now it's castable.
Yeah, and now he has crossbows, and so he has or what was the I always forget
unstoppable mass.
Unstoppable mass. Yeah, he has an unstoppable mass now at this point, which will be very difficult to break, probably for any.
Yep.
So I think we know what's going to happen inside this fight. We'll keep it rolling because this is the final match inside the tournament. So
Yeah. Yep.
So it looks like your guess was correct, at least on the first game here. Rehoboam's Micro outperformed Immortal. So nice work in predicting the outcome.
Someone asked about an AI builder tool for DEA, for DE, in the chat.
Yeah.
We don't have kind of any plans for that, but I will point you towards two things. If you have a look at a file called AI Builder with the game, it's a tool that's really used by the campaign designers in the game who aren't as experienced with AI. It's basically you fill out a list of constants, like how many units to train in this phase, and it will do everything in the background for you. It will take text for you. But it's not like a GUI build or anything. But if you want a GUI builder, AI builder, I would point you towards Chameleon AI by Scripter himself. It's not compatible with all the DE civs, but it's exactly what you are describing. It has a GUI that you can build strategies with. And I think a lot of people outside the AI community don't know about it.
And I know these are fairly old, but there were a couple of older builder tools. Like there's the AOC AI builder that's around on the Age of King's Heaven, and plus there was the old Forgotten Empires AI builder that.
Yeah, that I think that's still up. I'm not 100% sure. I know it was taken down for a while after the site got hacked.
Yeah, if you use Wayback, you can still reach it. It's plus there's one other AI builder, and I'm just blanking on that. But there are a couple of good AI builders out there.
I definitely.
So welcome everyone who's joining. I see that we have 47 individuals.
Thank you very much, T West, for the raid. By the way, wasn't paying attention to the chat.
So this is the final match of our AI competition. So these are the best, some of the best AIs that we have right now at the moment.
Yeah.
So
all right, a Frank's War again.
Yep. It's a Frank's War. It's a mirror match. Kind of how if both.
Yeah. If I have any criticism of how you've been, I think. I think its kind of dominance would be kind of more convincing if it played more civilizations.
Yeah. Maybe.
But it's definitely in kind of matches where the civilization can be picked. It's definitely the best AI in my view.
So Cassis and I can't pronounce. So apologies on that. It says Rehoboam. Yeah, Rehoboam only plays Franks. So at the moment.
Yeah, it plays. If you give it some other civs, it does play them decently. But they're not officially supported in any way.
So this is definitely going to be an interesting finale for the tournament. Oh, if Immortal wins, then we'll go on to playing a third and final game in the series. But
Yeah.
if Rehoboam wins, then he has won the tournament. And link in the chat if others are interested on the whole bracket setup and everything.
Yeah.
So this is the link. There's the link to the spreadsheet there. So
while we're watching, yeah, that's good. While we're watching Dark Age, one thing I do want to point out that Immortal does differently from any other AI is when it hunts the boar, it uses the modern strategy of using the town center garrison to kill the boar, which saves a couple of seconds of villager gathering time. And no other AI, I think, does that, which is kind of impressive. It's risky to do that because if your AI's timing is off, then you can accidentally kill the boar. And
I saw that the other day where the TC weakens the boar instead of that is the first time that I've actually seen an AI shoot a boar with the town center arrows, and I thought that was incredible. So that's kind of like a new stage, of something other AIs can kind of strive to be like right there in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I do think Immortal, if I have one criticism, with this 22 pop build order, I do think 3 farms is too much. And you see it doesn't have its barracks up and it doesn't have enough wood for a military building. I think 3 farms is too much. The general rule is if you're not doing any ruling for a scout rush, you can afford to build however many farms you have after 20. So if you go 21 pop, you can do 1 farm. If you go 22, you can do 2. And that's just like slowed it down just a bit. I'm really nitpicky, but that's one thing I do notice.
So for those just joining the stream, welcome. So my co-caster here, Offwo, is the creator of the Definitive Edition AI that everyone so loves. And in addition to that,
Tommy did. Tommy too. He's done most of the work. I'm just taking it over.
So this is the final match of the New Blood AI tournament.
Okay, Rehoboam's attacking, and it's going to go. It looks like it's going to go towards that mining camp in the back.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. Oh, the scouts are going down. Oh, so Rehoboam does the exact same thing. He's got a sure shot strategy to.
Yeah, the hit and run really helps. If no micro was done at all, the scouts would be the favourite in that fight.
So that looks like it's going to be the decider of the game.
Yeah, Immortal really could do it. Won't be enough to turn around the game, but I think it could do with a defensive tower in this kind of situation. It won't be enough to save it, but
so
I think it would lose a lot less quickly if it built a tower.
Extra archers coming in here. This is looking really.
Yeah.
This is looking like the end.
Immortal needs a range, but even that won't be enough. And Rehoboam's about to get click castle. Oh no, that's Immortal's about to click castle.
So
okay.
Yeah.
That explains it. Why it's losing. It's trying to go for pure scouts into fast castle. Which you can do if your scout rush is successful, but if you if your scout rush fails, you need to fall back on like archers or skirmishers or something, because without walls or even a tower, it's just too risky to do that,
So
and it's just being punished for it.
Rehoboam is researching Castle Age, putting the mill in the back so he has a better place on collecting, collecting food from farms.
Yeah.
Rehoboam researched the crossbow archer, which is
Yeah. There's basically nothing in feudal that counters crossbows.
Yeah.
With this level of micro, but
Just
did Immortal manage to click up? Can you?
yes, yeah. This is Immortal on my screen, so he's about.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, well, at least it managed to get to castle, but it's a kind of victory.
Yeah. Do you think building? So he's producing a couple of knights here. I don't. He would have to have several knights to take on all these archers. Because
so obviously,
this is
a human playing in this situation would probably resign, but if not, they would probably go straight for a mangonel and hope for a lucky shot. I don't think they would. I don't think you can mass enough knights in this situation.
It looks like he's about to resign.
And I don't think it has chain barding, so that will make a real difference.
So there goes the tournament, folks. We have,
and amusingly, the chat filter does not apply to AIs. So if you want to bypass it,
yeah. There. So when Immortal resigned there, keep in mind that can't censor anything. So
so I think it's a quote from MBL. I think that's where it comes from.
This is an adult, partially adult, as Fireball said, stream. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So there goes the tournament. So we have finished the matches at this point. So thank you everyone for tuning in. So the Night Panda / Rehoboam has won. So great job to him. At this point, we really don't have too many other matches we can stream. I see that we have a couple of.
I think I'm gonna go. Go to sleep now. So
thank you for joining.
Thank you for running this tournament.
Oh no problem. Glad that I was able to run it for everyone. So
let's see.
Yeah. At this point, I don't have very much to stream, so I can either end it or we can watch maybe one group fight from all of the AIs that participate in the competition. So it's just whatever. If you say that you want to see it inside the chat here, I will put on one final game since I see that we have so many guests on here who might want to see something like that. Or does anyone have any preference, or I can just end the stream now and we can all move on. So let me know what you think in the comments. If I hear someone say anything here in the next couple of seconds. Not seeing anything. I'll probably do that. I'll probably put on one fight here because we have so many guests. And that'll be it for tonight. So let's put on some of our best AIs here inside the competition. From the competition. So we'll put in the top 8 AIs from the competition. So we'll put in Mortal, Rehoboam. We'll put in the Definitive Edition AI, and we'll put in Shadow. Looking for it here. Vikings. A lot of these AIs like to play only one civ, so that's what I'm doing with that. So, in the next, we have the General and Morgan. Where? Oh, the Morgan. Cells. And we need the 2 other AIs. So, Odette and I'm missing one. We'll go ahead and add Odette in here. Doing a civ that Odette just randomly plays, and the last AI inside tournament, I'm just blanking on it for some reason. Either Ahulane or Thermopylae. We'll do Thermopylae. Alright, since it played so well yesterday. Okay, so teams. So that looks like some fair teams right there. And yeah, I think that's that. Large, extreme, 20. Okay, let's go ahead and watch these strongest AIs go against each other. Oh, someone mentioned something to me. I have to replace Thermopylae with Naga. Oh, sorry about that, folks. That's didn't catch it in time. Good catch. Naga and random. Yeah. Okay, there we go. That should be better. So a 4 versus 4 fight, the last fight of the day. So since a lot of you just now joined and are wondering what these AIs are, and kind of curious about how they were programmed, who they were programmed by, and stuff like that. They were programmed by the AIScripters channel, and if you don't have, don't know what that is, or you don't, you haven't heard about it before, it's a group of programmers who design AIs behind Age of Empires, and they script and code for it. So these are some of the top best AIs that are currently in the works. There are other AIs that are good, like Barbarian and stuff like that, but they aren't. Those programmers are taking a break, or haven't been programming for a while. So these are the newer AIs right now. So we have Shadow, Naga, Rehoboam, and the General versus Immortal, the Morgan, Odette, and what appears to be the default AI. So this is kind of like the first fight that I've seen versus Naga versus the DEAI. So Immortal in this corner is going against Naga, and on the opposite side, the DEAI is challenging the General here. Very early game. So in case you don't know who Naga is, I lost my train of thought there. So Naga was made by the creator Promi, who used to work on the DEAI, which has been passed off to Offwo, who was just on the call a couple minutes ago. It's the definitive edition AI is going by the name Jedemias minus. Over here. So it's pretty interesting seeing these two AIs going kind of head to head against each other on a team game. So some of the AIs are going up into feudal age. Naga thinking about going for a scout rush here. Might be glitching out. Doesn't know exactly what to do. That scout is taking advantage of that glitch. Something that no one likes to see. A lot of sadness going on right there. Let's stop watching that. See what's going on in other territories. Immortal going for an attack here. Going to finish off that last scout that was sad. Hello, King Arthur. Welcome to the stream. So Odette in pocket back here hasn't gone up to castle just yet. Rehoboam also in pocket. Naga kind of protecting it from early assaults. On the other side here, the General has built a watchtower. And he's facing down the standard DEAI in front of him. So no one's really made a move against each other yet. They're all kind of building up. Kind of scared of each other. The game is pretty close at this point. Odette attacking with knights here. Going into Naga's base. Knights are becoming confused again. So this is kind of like the same thing that we saw earlier. There they go, they're starting to attack. Mortal hitting Castle Age. People don't want to know what my elo is. I'm not. If I was on, I'd be considered. You know, if I was on T90, if I was, you know, on stream from T90, he would consider me to be like less than a low elo legend. So, if that's saying anything. So Odette attacking Naga. But Naga still has a pretty fair economy going on. I'm scared of these knights. He needs one of his teammates to provide some assistance. On this side, Shadow has gone for the attack on the standard AI. So he is rampaging through the town. Teaching standard default AI a lesson, so to speak, right now. Low elo legend minus. Yeah. Unfortunately, not all of us can have, you know, amazing skills. So it looks like DEAI's town has kind of been wrecked. Let's see how. I'm afraid of switching to his player view because he might be about to resign here. I won't be surprised if he caught it very soon. Immortal attacking Naga. Naga appears to be might be rebuilding in the back. Oh, that's Rehoboam. Oh, there. Naga has built a new TC kind of in the back of his base. So it looks like each team might lose one competitor each here. Shadow kind of going for the attack on the Morgan. Rehoboam just now discovering that Odette is next to his base. Sending some cavalier in for assistance. Just finished researching Paladin here. Morgan attacking the general. The general kind of being a little bit defensive. The shadow is attacking the Morgan at its base though, so... In addition, the general is now attacking standard AI, definitive edition AI, around its town center. Everyone's being a little bit cautious at the moment. If we continue playing like this, we might run out of wood on the entire map. Who knows? So, Immortal is attacking Rehoboam now. The two very strong AIs are going at each other's throat. Looks like Rehoboam might go for a retreat here. He's lost a lot of paladins. Immortal overcoming. Coming in for the attack on Rehoboam's base. Odette has recently discovered that Rehoboam has some secret side markets. Naga trying to make a recovery. I mean, no, not Naga. Default AI. Naga appears to be kind of dead. Fairly large army coming in from Morgan to attack the general again. Oh, I didn't see this over here. So Immortal kind of attacking Rehoboam inside his base. It's not looking good for him. The score is pretty different at this point. The general is pretty desperate over here. He needs to get these enemies out of its territory. Siege rams coming in from Immortal. Rehoboam resigned. Not looking good. This looks like it's one of those games that we need to start speeding up to max speed. Naga resigned. Ouch. Default AI and General has resigned. Only Shadow remains. Default AI has recovered, and now Shadow is very much in trouble at this point. And there you have it. Shadow resigned. So good game to Odette, Morgan, Immortal, and Definitive Edition AI for a good show right there. So a good extra match. Let's look at the statistics before we stop the stream. So it looks like Odette and Definitive Edition AI were the best players. Those MVPs of the game, for whatever reason. A lot of kills by Odette. Best economy is kind of all over the place, but it looks like Odette seems to be in the best position. 148 villagers for default, for Definitive Edition AI is the top villager high. And there you go. So thank you everyone for tuning into the stream. Immortal, yes, Immortal got revenge. Odette is an AI. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And so yes, it is one of the AIs. We can send you a link to it inside the chat here for everyone. If anyone is interested in any one of these AIs, please check out the AIScripters website here, and all you have to do is search that forum for your favorite AI. Yes, you are certainly welcome, Friendship Viper fan. I'm glad that you enjoyed the tournament. So that it was definitely my pleasure presenting this tournament to you. I'm glad everyone had a good time. So on that note, I will stop streaming, and I hope that each and every one of you has a nice afternoon/night. So make sure to tune in to the next tournament. There's a couple of additional tournaments coming up in the future. The Davis Cup, which will be maybe in a month or two, and Electricity has another tournament coming out in the future. So tune into those or follow the Discord to see how those tournaments will, what will happen with those tournaments. So thank you all, and have a nice evening. Okay.